up? This is Ben Fogan's Media Corner, and welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. And today I'm going to be talking about the 2021 teenage dramedy known as Moxie. Now, Moxie, this is based on the novel of the same name, which I've never read, but this was directed by Amy Poehler, and she also stars in the movie. And this basically tells the story of this 16-year-old girl named Vivian Carter, played by Hadley Robinson, and she's very shy, and she goes to high school, and she lives with a mother named Lisa, played by Amy Poehler, which she directed this movie. Basically, we see that Vivian goes to high school, and basically she's getting fed up of high school because there's a bunch of like sexism there, because of boys are making fun of girls and being sexist towards them, and having like fetishism around them, like doing like inappropriate stuff to them. And so when Vivian gets outraged about this kind of stuff, she decides to basically find her own voice, and then like stop this whole sexism thing that's happening around her school. And basically they can make the other girls find their own voices, and hopefully they can stop this whole like sexism issue that's happening in the school. So that's pretty much the story of Moxie. So for going into Moxie, I didn't really know much about the story going into it, because I never read the book, like I said, and I heard this was just a new film that just came out on Netflix, and so I decided to check it out because I want to see a couple films of 2021. And so I watched this this morning, and I didn't know really much about the cast members going into it, although I was familiar with Amy Poehler, which she's a talented actress. I've seen her in a few things that I did like her in, such as Mean Girls, which I really like that movie, and I will do a review of that in September. And she has appeared in a few other like family comedies or sorts like in recent years, but mostly I've seen her in like doing like raunchy or like family friendly comedies and stuff like that. And I was pretty surprised for her directing a movie, because I've never seen her as a director. I just, of course, mostly see her as a funny woman. And I was familiar with some of the other cast members. You got like Josephine Langford, she's the sister of Catherine Langford from Love, Simon and Knives Out, and most recently Spontaneous. For Josephine Langford, I started to know her since the After film series, which I know there's a bunch of fans who adore those film series, but I'll do a review on those and give you guys my honest views about those movies. And you got like Patrick Schwarzenegger in the film as well, and a bunch of other cast members. And you got Gregg as well from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I knew him from that, of course, from that series. And he has appeared in a few other roles that I've seen him in, like 500 Days of Summer and Mr. Popper's Penguins. And so I watched this film today, and I thought this movie was pretty enjoyable. It's not a perfect film, because there are some issues I did have, particularly its storytelling, which I felt like it had less spirited than other like coming of age stories about like kind of like finding your own voice, which I did see a movie similar like that before in cinemas back in 2018 called The Hate You Give, which I thought that was a brilliant film, and I can't wait to review that one for you guys on YouTube. But to me, it kind of like had less spirited than other like coming of age teenage movies I've seen before, like The Perks of Being a Wallflower, for example, which I absolutely loved that movie, and I thought that had a really accomplished message about that movie, about dealing with your own self. But yeah, as I was saying, this movie kind of felt a bit less spirited like any of the like coming of age stories that I mentioned, like coming of age stories that I've seen, like The Perks of Being a Wallflower and other films. We've had like 8th Grade, which I have not seen, but I really want to see that movie because I've heard people talking about that before. And so whenever I do see it, I will try and review that one for you guys. But again, this movie I felt had less teen spirits that these kind of coming of age stories did have. But the story wasn't awful. I thought it had a bit less spirit than other ones, but the story was still really motivational for its message of the film, which is very accomplished and very, very, very understandable for those who have had that kind of same situation before. It is a really distressing thing to face, but it is still a really good message for this movie. And as for the humor in the film, The humor, there were laughs and jokes in the film that I thought were really funny, and for some of the characters, they were really entertaining for the most part. Like, you got Marcia Harden's character, who's a principal of the school, which she doesn't get the point of being, you know, a principal, and she was really funny for the most part, and there were some jokes that I thought were a bit cliched at times, but it's not like the humor was awful. The humor was smart for its main storytelling of the film, because it just wants to make you, you know, having a good time, despite if, you know, the story is a bit, you know, distressing, but yet very motivational. And the acting in the film, you got like Hadley Robinson, who plays Vivian in the film. She was really good in the movie, as well as Amy Poehler. She delivered a pretty good performance. Patrick Schwarzenegger, which he plays sort of like this like bully character in the film, you know, who's like doing like inappropriate stuff in front of girls and making fun of girls in the film. Which his character is a bit of like a character who just want to kind of punch his face in, because of like what he does in the film is just wrong. But he delivered a pretty good performance for playing, you know, sort of like a smart ass kid in the film. And Josephine Langford, which she was pretty good in the film. And as for the other performances, they all delivered a solid performance. And I forgot to say, you also got Gregg in the film as well, which he was pretty good too. But again, all the performances all around, they were all solid enough for the most part. So overall, Moxie, it's a pretty enjoyable teenage dramedy with a really motivational storytelling, although it had less spirited from other teenage coming of age stories that I've seen before. But I still had some laughs. I still enjoyed the film, but it wasn't like a cliched teenage film I've seen 1,000 times, but it still was a pretty good movie. And again, if you want to check out this film, it's on Netflix. And if you're a fan of like movies that's about like finding your voice, I do recommend the film if you're a fan of those kind of films, or if you're a fan of like teenage films, like if you liked watching like 80s teen films, or like most recent teen films we've had like in recent years, and if you want to see a new one, this might be one for you. So overall, I'm gonna give Moxie a C+. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching for my review of Moxie. If you did see the film, I'd like to hear your thoughts of this film. Did you enjoy this, or did you not really care for this one? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all for my next movie review. And this is Ben Foggin's Media Corner signing off.